About 50 years ago, a book came out that just cracked open the secret inner world of women's desires. Well, now, actress Gillian Anderson decided it was time to ask again. In a world that's supposed to be so much more liberated, what do women and genderqueer people really fantasize about? The answer is in her new book, Want, and we're about to dive right into this incredible collection of modern sexual fantasies. Okay, let's just start right here. This question from one of the anonymous letters sent to Gillian Anderson, it just gets right to the heart of this entire project, doesn't it? Is the shame still there? That one question reveals this conflict that so many people feel, but, they almost never ever say it out loud. So, to really get what Anderson was up to, we've got to go back about 50 years to this totally landmark book, Nancy Friday's My Secret Garden. I mean, this book was revolutionary. It was the first time, really, that it was shown on a mass scale that women had these rich, diverse, erotic inner lives. Anderson's book, Want, is basically its direct spiritual successor. It's asking the same core question, but for a whole new generation. So yeah, let's revisit that secret garden. What exactly has changed in half a century? And maybe the more important question is, what hasn't? This whole thing actually kicked off for Anderson while she was getting ready for her role as a sex therapist on the show Sex Education. She reread My Secret Garden and was just blown away by the raw honesty, but also by the just overwhelming shame the women back in 1973 felt. So it all led her to this really simple but powerful question. Has any of that really gone away? And to find an answer, she just put out a call, an anonymous global invitation called Dear Gillian, asking people to write in and share the fantasies they keep locked away. This was her chance to create a totally new book of fantasies for our generation and to see what the inner world of desire really looks like today. So, the response, it was absolutely staggering. By the time the deadline hit, the letters she got back had a combined total of 800,000 words. I mean, that's enough raw, honest confession to fill at least 8 books. It's just massive. As Anderson herself put it, so simply, clearly there was a need. That huge outpouring just proved that, despite all our supposed progress, people are still desperate for a place to be seen and heard and validated, without any judgment. But what the letters showed was something even deeper. Fantasy is so much more than just a tool for arousal. For a lot of people, it's actually a tool for survival. Just take this person, for example. They were stuck in a lonely, sexless marriage where their desire was constantly shamed. For them, fantasies weren't just an escape, they actually became their companions, a source of comfort when they had absolutely nowhere else to turn. And for others, the stakes are even higher. I mean, this letter puts it so clearly, it's chilling. Fantasy can be a literal lifeline. It's a way to hold on to hope, to desire, to the very will to live when your reality offers you nothing. And this brings us to a really crucial point that Anderson makes. A fantasy is a safe space precisely because it isn't real. It's a place where you can go and explore things that might be dangerous or taboo or, frankly, things you would never want in the real world. I mean, think about what that means. In our fantasies, we have total, complete control. We write the script, we cast the players, we direct the action. It's this world that is totally free from fear and judgment and consequences. It's a place of pure, uninhibited freedom. And all of this freedom, well, it creates an entire universe of desire, one that is just vast and incredibly varied, and a lot of the time, beautifully contradictory. The range of fantasies people sent in was just immense. I mean, you have the more common themes, right? BDSM, threesomes, sex with strangers, and then you have submissions that are completely out there, like fantasies about sex with a tentacled alien. It just goes to show you, when it comes to the human imagination, there are truly no limits. And inside this universe, you find these amazing contrasts. So on one end of the spectrum, you have this really deep yearning for tenderness and connection, a desire to be worshipped, to be cherished, to just feel utterly desired for who you are. And then, sometimes from the very same person, you get the polar opposite. This raw, primal urge to just surrender all control, to be used, to escape the mental load of being a person and just exist as an object of pleasure. It's this brilliant illustration that our desires don't have to make sense. They can be messy and they can be contradictory. But here's the thing that surprised Anderson the most. After 50 years of supposed progress, one theme just kept popping up again and again: shame. Why?
Why did so many women who called themselves loud, proud, and confident still feel this nagging undercurrent of embarrassment or guilt about their own inner worlds? The book doesn't really offer easy answers, but it sure forces us to ask that question.
And that unresolved tension, that question of shame, it leads us right to the ultimate point of this whole project, the power to want. The idea that just saying what we desire can be a profound act of liberation. At the end of the day, Anderson's goal wasn't to analyze or explain any of these fantasies. It was to create a platform, a space where these hidden voices could finally be shared. It's this paradox where, through their anonymity, people could finally be seen and heard. And in doing so, it validates their right to simply want. And this all leads to Anderson's really powerful definition of what sexual liberation even is. It's not about being wild or promiscuous. It's about freedom. The freedom to define sex on your own terms and to say what you really want, free from the pressure of what society or maybe even your partner expects you to want. And this right here is the final, empowering takeaway. The book is kind of like a mirror, reflecting this whole universe of desires back at us to show us that we are not alone. And it leaves us with this powerful reminder that we all have the power not just to fantasize, but to say out loud and ultimately get what it is we really, truly want.